thinking? No, like you got a minivan, right?
No.
Back road. You got a minivan, right?
Oh, back road.
Yeah.
So like, can you borrow a bunch of your neighbor's leaf blowers?
I just buy a leaf blower. Oh yeah, well maybe.
You need like 6 of them. So tape those to the hood and then just drive around the neighborhood and you can fix the roads.
Somebody, dude.
Hey, that'd be great for a video. At least go do that for.
I fucking love it, man. Just like duct tape them all on there too. Like just do it really shitty.
Everybody leaves to ride, but I'm gonna fix it. Just drive.
That'd be funny, dude. It would sound, if you think about it, it would sound like a fucking.
It's like a fucking train coming at you, dude.
Wow. What was that? It was, speaking of, I was just talking about it. What was that fucking? What's that show? Roadkill, where they tried to hook up all those leaf blowers to try and like create a turbo or whatever.
Yeah.
You remember that one?
They got to kind of work, but it was all fucked and shit.
Right. It was like 6 fucking leaf blowers hooked up to the intake, and like, yeah, I think we gained like 5 horsepower.
Did you see like their method of like you call, I guess, a combination of blow off valve or wastegate at the same time, where they had like a big open valve in the car, and you would just shut it, go, and it would turn the boost on. That's amazing. Did you see the boost caboose they made? That was the most stupid, inefficient thing I've ever seen, but it did work. Did you see that? It was literally a trailer. It's literally a fucking trailer with another V8 in it with a huge blower, but the blower doesn't power that V8. It's got a long fucking slinky hose that goes up to the other car, and it fucking gives it boost. So somebody stands on the back of this thing and throttles it up, and it boosts the other engine. It's the stupidest fucking shit I've ever seen, but I loved it. Yeah, they call it the boost caboose. The boost caboose.
I fucking love it. I love shit like that. You know, you ever get sad sometimes? I realize that like electric cars and electric bikes are the future. And I just get sad because I think about all this dumb fucking shit you could do with internal combustion engines that's just gonna go away.
I think we'll think of new dumb shit to do, but at the same time, like I remember seeing one of the Zero bikes when I was working at the Maxim dealer, because they sold them there, like had like the seat off and you just look down into it and it's got these big orange fucking cables. You know, they're orange because they're letting you know they're high voltage. Mm-hmm. And I looked at that and I told my buddy who was with me, I was like, I'd never want to fucking put my hands on that. That scares the shit out of me.
Yeah.
like you turn a gas engine off, it's off, right? But with a battery, the potential's always there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's still an initial charge.
In its own way, it's a massive capacitor. You know?
Yeah. It's
you ever been zapped by a capacitor and something stupid?
Yes. Yeah. I got hit real hard one time by a really big smoke capacitor. Have you ever seen what a smoke capacitor looks like?
No.
I let the smoke out of a capacitor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. and actually,
capacitor to a bomb. That's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, it sucks. It sucks getting hit by a capacitor.
My buddy opened up my TV trying to fix it, and like we just unplugged it. We let it set for like 20 minutes. Then we went and did cool guy stuff for 20 minutes. Came back, and he came back and fucking immediately trying to fucking dismantle that. And it was the pop. It filled up the room with acoustic. Pow! And his arm went flying just from a little itty bitty power button on a TV. So each charge.
I can't wait until everything.
So it can start up again.
I can't wait until everything goes electric and solar. The technology's just not quite there yet, but when it gets there, I'm going to throw a party, because you know what it means? Everybody's going to leave West Texas, and I'm going to have it all to myself. I can't wait. Dude, you guys see how many giant oil trucks I have to dodge just trying to go on a motorcycle ride these days? Oh,
nope.
Oh, dude, it's just crazy out here right now. And oil's only like $48 a barrel. You should have seen it when oil was $102 a barrel. Bring on the freaking electrical stuff. That's what I say.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but it's gonna rap anymore, and like I can't do both. I need to have like I would love an electric thing as something else to play with, but I want the worst of everything. I was looking up that fucking Suzuki Rotary bike they made back in the 70s today. I wonder how hard it'd be to get my hands on one of those. I bet that puts off just tons of pollution and shit riding around. I need one of those.
Any rotary engine.
They're all pretty much terrible.
Rotary engines were one of the most cockamamie designs ever.
Well, it's just like the dumbest shit. It's like, let's take everything, like the worst parts of a 2-stroke and a 4-stroke, and just make an engine that's super.
Shit. Put some boost on one of those. Those things fucking go, man. They're fucking nuts.
What's up, Defobra?
What's going on? Yeah, those rotaries will rev to the moon and back, man. Those things are pretty cool.
Yeah, they're
They-
simple.
they're
That,
like-
that was the appeal of them, is that it's such a simple engine.
Yeah, nothing breaks really.
Right. Yeah, they're very
They just
few
wear
moving
out.
parts,
They
and you
just-
can
You're making
rev 'em
money.
crazy.
You're rich. Josh is rich.
Yeah.
You see that, Josh?
I know. Thanks, guys. Newfie Brad, Steve Cooper. Thanks, guys, man. I appreciate it. Ever since I started this keto diet, it's a lot more expensive because tequila is way more expensive than beer.
Yeah. I've gone to rum, Josh. That's what I did. I'm doing on keto.
Yeah.
Shit, dude.
Rum and
you're doing
caffeine-free
it too,
Diet
huh?
Coke.
You're doing it too, Josh?
Yeah, dude, I'm down fucking 14 pounds.
Dude, you can lose
I
so
gotta
much
do
weight
this.
so fast.
I gotta do this. I'm done. I saw a picture of Neil.
Dude,
He looked
All right, hold on.
man.
It
He
looks
looked good.
ridiculous, right?
we got both sides in here in this panel now. Listen to me for a second. My side of the story. I started that shit, and it made me fucking feel like dick.
Yeah, you feel
all of
like
a sudden.
shit
And
for for a
Dude.
full week or two. You feel like
It's because you're
absolute.
dying.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I didn't. I did like one for like a couple hours, like the third day or something like that. I was like, I think I feel dizzy, and then it was like fine.
Well, see, if you have a job with like high priority responsibilities, it's that week is really fucking bad. I mean, so I just went and got a sausage biscuit, and everything was fixed.
Dude, I'll tell you the coolest part about it, and it's just like I'm sure I'm doing it wrong. Jessica keeps trying to make it complicated. She keeps going like, "Well, you gotta do this. Look at these recipes." I'm like, "Listen up. The diet is simple. You eat meat, cheese, and dark green vegetables. Don't try to fucking
Right.
French it up.
And
That's
lots
it."
of and the beauty is you eat fatty meat. Like tonight, like I ate roasted chicken, but I knew it wasn't going to be enough fat. So when I was at HEB, which is this chain of the supermarkets we have here in Texas, I told the dude, I went to the meat market and I said, dude, I want 3/4 pound of pepperoni, and I want it. And I said, I want it cut. I said, I want it cut thickness number 4, which is like 1/4 inch thick. So I ate like a chicken breast and a chicken leg and a big chunk of pepperoni. That was my dinner.
Hey man, you know what?
It was delicious.
Some pepperoni and jalapenos chips.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, man. It's
What?
the fat thing
What
is
flavor
crazy
jalapeno?
because I figured your body runs on fat when you're doing it, right? So instead of carbohydrates. So I was like, I'm fucking I make these smoothies before I go ride dirt bikes, right? Because I don't like to have any real food in my stomach. And literally, I just put fucking full fat yogurt, heavy cream,
Yeah.
and fucking and blueberries and walnuts. And dude, you fucking drink that shit. I feel like I did a fucking key bump of cocaine afterwards.
Yeah.
It's fucking insane.
Once you deplete all of the glucose out of your system, it's amazing. Number one, how good you feel just sitting around doing nothing. But then when you fuel yourself up with what your body was actually designed to burn for energy, everything is better. It's like your soul clicks into place or something. Now that I've kind of discovered this, I've done this before. Right before I went into law enforcement, I went on the full Atkins diet. But with the Atkins diet, you can't have like avocados and dark green vegetables and all that. And so, but I dropped a lot of weight. Now this is awesome.
We're pissing off Princess fucking Garden Snake with all our
No,
diet.
they put in the chat. Like, first of all, nobody was talking. Like, y'all were going on and on. And they were just.
I'm watching the chat. Everybody's still talking.
They're all talking about
Everyone's
Rotary.
still
Rotary.
talking.
They're still
Let's talk
talking
about
about
Rotaries
Rotary
again.
engines.
Rotaries are
Yeah,
cool.
they're all about the
Good God.
Rotaries.
You ever heard of rotary with like stage 3 porting? I guess like the equivalent of putting a fat cam in a normal car, you know, just like it's got a bunch of overlap in the ports. It sounds like the fucking engine's about to explode. They sound
So
like if you
is
didn't
it-
know, if you
Is
did,
it
if you were in the know,
intaking and exhausting at the same time then?
because it's just cross.
It's just spinning.
Turning it into a 2-stroke.
Yeah, so it's sitting there like
They sound like 2 strokes.
sounding like shit.
And I don't mean this all the Mexicans down here fucking love them.
Yeah, but you know what?
Well, they're smart though.
But they never look cool. Like the RX-7s are cool looking, the RX-8s are okay, but those like RX-3s that are fast.
That's
Oh,
my
yeah, they are
jam, dude. Is
fast.
the RX3.
But they're just ugly.
I
Yeah, the
love it
trick- the
though.
trick
It's
with
like
them-
it's so ugly. It's so ugly. You gotta
I like
love it.
it.
It's just like this
Nah, man,
weird,
it's like,
unassuming little ugly Japanese
Yeah,
car,
it's
and
like
it
a
just
Toyota.
rips, dude.
What is that? That Starlet or something? You see a lot of people playing around with those old Toyotas, those Corollas. I don't know. They're fast.
I love
They're real
the. I
fast,
love
man.
the.
If
I
you do
love
an
the
RX3 correctly, it can look good. Like, in fact, when you said that, I started looking for this one particular image, and here it is right here. If you got to do a little bit of like body work on them, but check this out.
I
Right
think
here.
they look cool, man. I never.
I like
Yeah.
them, and if you kind of modernize them a little bit, here, hold on a second, let me get this right.
You know what's really cool,
Dude, right
Oh,
here,
that
man.
is sick,
you
dude.
ain't gonna tell me that that's not a good looking.
That's okay. That's the coupe though. I'm talking
Yeah, that's
about
not
like
bad
the
looking.
sedan.
Yeah, I'm thinking
Okay,
the one
but
that
you know
looks
what's
like an
really
old
cool on though?
Corolla.
Like you're seeing where people
Like,
take off the side mirrors and they put the Japanese mirrors that are out on the quarter panels, like out in the fenders up front.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
they
up front,
are.
yeah,
I don't know why I love that look, dude. I think it looks so badass. That's a nutty looking car right there. It looks neat.
Okay,
What's
when
the
I
little-
when I think the Mexican special, like fucking totally
Mexican
tricked out.
special.
I'm it's not. I love Mexicans. I'm saying Mexicans love those fucking cars, man.
Yeah,
Here
yeah,
it
I
goes
know,
out.
man.
Mexicans, you heard it here
It's
first,
fucking
folks.
Mexicans.
Massive racist.
I love Mexicans so much. I swear, I do.
Better than who was talking about the white fixed grasshopper? Fuck sakes.
Y'all were. I don't know where I was going.
When I think straight up fucking Mexican fucking RX3, this is what I think of. I'm about to share this image.
I wonder if it's the same. Is it the green car? Because I wonder
It's
if
gonna
you
look
look
like
at the same
Bozo
picture.
Zoku.
You know what's so lame is the RX-8 wasn't not turbo though. That car could have been like so much cooler for King Factory turboed, but
That one right there.
Oh yeah, that's
it's a 4-door, but whatever. You know what it means with a 4-door? It means more room for tire. Look at that fucking tub in the
Oh.
back. There's no way.
Yeah,
I thought you were gonna say pussy.
No one's sitting back there because there's 2 tires where you should be sitting.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know.
That's pretty
I love. Hey, I'm not taking it. Defoe, bro. I agree with you.
Defoe, bro,
They're
I'm with you
fucking
too.
ugly.
No. Listen, dude. I don't take any offense when you guys like it. You guys, and I know I put it on your Christmas list.
But you're right. In its stock iteration, you are right. It looks like ass. But what's
I
up,
love it.
Derek?
Derek. Derek. Oop.
What's up?
What's up, Derek?
So,
Yeah.
What up?
That's another one. Toyota Starlet. That's another one that a lot of people like, right?
we're not
Old
that
Starlets.
The
Yeah.
Starlet? I don't know about that one. I can't picture.
Maybe I don't know. It's a little piece of shit Toyota.
I don't know, man. I like that shit. I like the super old school fucking not Corollas. The God damn it.
Super.
The Celicas. The really old school.
Yeah, the old school
Celicas.
Celicas.
I love those fucking cars, man.
Man, I don't know, man. This Starlet thing has some potential for a freaking. Hold on.
You know what kills me?
Jesus
When they
Christ.
turned the
This is-
Celica into such a fucking
It is. It's a
lame
wuss car. Yeah, it's a wuss car now. What they made it into before they killed it.
Yeah.
I
And
feel like-
you look at the original one, man. And here, I'm gonna fucking screen share it real quick.
Yeah, they were.
And it's
they were
just
pretty
such a fucking hot car, man.
Don't you screen share that shit. I don't want to see it.
I'm trying to, Jake.
Okay.
Jesus. Look at it. There it is.
What you
Ooh,
just
you
look
got
at
the
it.
fender. You
Oh,
got
it's
the
got those
fucking
mirrors
fender
too,
mirrors. I
Jake.
love it, mate. Ah,
Takes
it's
all about those mirrors.
I am. I feel
Yeah.
like they'd be more efficient. To be fair,
Tim, did you ever have like a Chevy Monza or something like that?
I never had a Monza, but
I feel like you had one.
my cousin Kerry, he had one, and he turned it into what he called the Deathmobile.
Sounds cozy.
He
I
pulled,
love it.
He pulled
I'll take
everything.
two.
He pulled everything out of it and put a 350 in it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know,
yeah.
man. It seems to me like an old school Prius. I don't like them.
Yeah, Monza's that whole era of cars was a dark time for American motors.
Oh yeah, man. Look what happened to the Mustang. The poor thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I will
yeah,
tell
my
you
God,
the-
Cobra, the Mustang 2 and all that shit.
The 4-cylinder turbocharged 1980 Mustang was a
Oh,
pretty
God.
fucking badass car.
But
man.
I remember my mom's best friend back in the late 70s. She had a Cobra to. It was green, and that car was horrible. It was a hatchback and it had a 4-cylinder in it. But dude, she was so smoking hot that my little 9-year-old pants went crazy every time I was around her.
Oh boy.
I loved riding in that Mustang, even though it was not a legitimate Mustang. It was because she wore tube tops. You know what I'm saying?
God damn, bro.
Nope.
Listen,
Can you,
tube tops make
can you
it-
describe it? Maybe we'll get an idea.
It was like the Ford Escort too. You remember the Ford Escort when it looked like the
Oh,
5.0? Oh, the fucking
No, the Ford Escort.
They're like,
The Ford Escort, early '90s Escort SHO was a fucking really cool car.
That was a Taurus.
No, they made an Escort. They made an Escort version as well.
They had an Escort GT. I had an Escort GT.
Oh, Escort GT. That's right.
Yeah,
not the
I had
SHO.
one of those. That was a dark time when I strayed from Mustangs for a couple of
right.
years.
It's like the poor man's
I didn't have an Escort. But I
The
had
poor
a-
man's what, Billy?
5.0 Mustang.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, I had the Mercury version of it. I love that car.
the
dude.
Mercury. Wait, the Mercury Lynx?
Yeah.
Oh no, wait. Is that what it was?
I think it was DeFobra, the Lynx.
Yeah, well, the early one was a Lynx, and then the later one I think was a Tracer or something.
Tracer,
Like
Yeah.
definitely a Tracer.
No, I had a
Everybody
I had a
one.
Lynx.
he's like, I never had a Tracer. It was a Lynx.
Fucking Tracers are for fucking faggots.
My buddy had a
Real
Tracer, and then he had
enthusiasts
a,
would only drive a Lynx.
he had a Tracer. Then like that got totaled, and he was so proud of the next car he got, and it was just a Ford Escort. And I was like, I think it's the same thing. Like, then he rolled it.
I don't know, man. It was a 5-speed. It's made. I mean, at the time it seemed impressive, but it made like 160 horsepower or something like that.
God,
They
it's
want
not
the
untrained eye.
like.
That's what I had. That car you just put up was
Yeah.
I had that
Dude,
car in.
Do you look at
Burgundy.
the cars though from then? Like, yeah, it probably was a fun car. But looking
It
back
was.
on it now, I was like, what happened to styling, dude? It was
Yeah.
like they just,
That car had the automatic seatbelts. When you closed the door, it kind of wrapped up and kind of choked.
Oh yeah, that's
Oh,
right. I fucking hated that shit. I only used the lap belt because it had two. It's like, how dumb is that? It has like the automatic like belt across your chest, and then you have to manually put the lap belt in. And this is the dumbest fucking thing in the world.
And he used to make a lot of noise. He used to go around the whole door.
yeah. But the thing is, I remember my I think my aunt had a car one, and it would get fucky sometimes. It wouldn't work. And then what do? There's not like a backup. You're just
No.
like, I guess I don't have a seatbelt.
No, everybody I knew had one, and what you did is you just didn't wear a seatbelt.
Well, you could wear the lap belt part of it because I think you
Yeah,
still like
you
you're
just,
right.
like,
You still
'cause
did
you
that
could
manually.
You could take the shoulder belt off, which everybody
Right.
did because it was annoying as fuck.
Yeah, it had its own little buckle up there at the top.
Yeah,
Um,
that's right.
As some of you guys know, I'm really small, so I know what you're talking about, but I would just duck it. Duck that shit. Bob and weave.
All right,
Right.
let's do this. Let's go across the panel and say, here's a good question. I got to explain it because it takes a little bit of thinking, but it's a good one. It's a good one. We got to come up with a car that you thought was just the most badass fucking car when you were a kid, and now that you're an adult, you're just like, wow, that's a really fucking
I got it.
car. That's a really lame car. And we'll screen share all of them. So you got to screen share it.
Okay.
Oh, we need to
I'm
actually look
looking
at
for
cars.
Yeah, a car that when you were a kid, I'm talking like 11, 12 years old, that you were just like, man, that's a fucking hot ride. And then when you got older and you're just like, that's fucking so lame. Got to be a year or two. I know mine too. You guys get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Totally.
I've already got it. I thought it was the greatest car I'd ever seen in my life, and 35 years later, it's a fucking shit box.
What?
All right, here it is. What is it?
Oh, what is it?
I'm looking. Hold on. I'm looking for a good picture. Oh, here's one.
I'm trying. I don't know.
Well,
Everybody had a kid car, like a car when they were a kid they thought was fucking awesome.
yeah, because you just didn't know, you didn't understand.
Right, you
things,
didn't understand that
like
it sucks.
specs and whatnot.
And you
just
know what that makes you understand though is that you understand why some people buy them.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, why did they sell that car? You know, it's like, well, when you were a kid, you thought it was awesome, and then some like 30-year-old with the mind of a child thought it was awesome too.
Yeah. Some guy with a fucking mullet. Oh wait, I'm giving mine away. Oh, here's way too.
Oh, you're giving Tim's away too.
Oh, I already put mine up. So
Oh, you did.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Mine is the 1982 Chevy Camaro Berlinetta.
That's the
What a piece of
Berlinetta.
shit,
Oh my
man.
God! My dad had that car.
Oh
dude,
man, see the 80s, the 80s
You are
Camaros
so
and-
right, dude. I thought that car was badass.
yeah, they had like 140 horsepower. I thought it was a
Oh my
hot rod.
God.
Dude, yeah,
Oh my God.
my neighbor Jeff had this car. He was older than us when we were like 12. He was like 19 when we were 12. He was my my buddy's big brother, and he had one, and I thought it was the hottest, fastest, most exotic thing I'd ever seen. And I look back now, like 35 years later, and I go, that thing was a total hunk of crap. The speedometer only went to like 85 miles an hour on it.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, well,
That
like
one-
even with the V8 option, like in those years, what was it making? Like
Yeah, the V8 made like 140 horsepower. It was horrible.
That's awesome.
Yeah. All right. next.
My dad had that car with T-tops. I swear
Yes,
to God.
yeah, his had T-tops too. It was purple. It was
leaking
purple with
tops. They
T-tops.
always
So
leaked down
gay.
the road.
This was white.
The
That is nice.
Berlinetta.
The Berlinetta, baby.
Let's give it an Italian name and it'll be exotic.
Mm,
That's phenomenal. All right, who's next?
mine's ready to go.
Go
All
ahead.
right, hit us.
All right, this was it right here.
Come on.
Oh,
Oh, the
Yeah.
is still a cool car, man.
That's
fucking
obligatory.
dope.
Yeah, it's not what I thought it was though. That's the problem. Like it's.
Oh yeah, because you look
You
at it, you're
like
like,
it because of
that
a
thing will
movie,
go a
didn't
million miles an hour.
Yeah, you thought it was good. You thought like. Well, I mean, of course I liked it from the movie, but even then I thought like that's a fucking hot car right there. And I was like, I thought that stainless steel bodywork would look so cool. I just assumed it was like it's got to be fast, right? It turns out they have like a shitbox fucking V6 in them. They barely. I think they also make like 100, like 20, 30 horsepower or something like that.
Not to mention the stainless steel is like 3,500 pounds.
Yeah, as soon as it's
Yeah.
heavy and it doesn't like like if you see what happens like when they get some age on them, like you have to like
Oh, you could fucking go out and clean it with a goddamn Brillo pad.
you really do.
Mhm.
It's insane. You got to be careful that you
SOS.
like go in the same direction that like it's slightly brushed, you know, and you have to like keep those lines in it right. And it's everything about it sucks basically down the road.
And like now, right? And like looking at it now, it looks kind of like a fancy gremlin.
Yeah, it
It's like
does.
a
And then like
hatchback.
I've been in one like just up and down the block in one, and like I remember getting in like the door, like the fucking the hydraulic things. I mean, yeah, they're old; they could have been replaced, but like you just like the door didn't want to stay upright, and then like it was all fucky. That's a big door, like to make sure that it holds its alignment correct over the
Isn't there
years.
some-
You know,
Company not far from you in the North Dallas Metroplex area that remanufactures and builds everything. They'll build you a brand new DeLorean.
I
if
thought
you
that was
want.
out of California. I don't think
Is
it's
it
out here.
California? No, I thought
I
it
don't know, I
was
could
Texas.
be wrong. I think I would
Let
know
me
if it was
check.
out here, but no, like there's people that you know I've always kept them because I think they are like they still always gonna have that place in my heart, and like the thing to do is you got to fucking do an LS swap into one, and then they're actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
There's a couple motors.
It's in Humble, Texas, Jake.
Oh, is it out here?
DeLorean Motor Company manufacturing and remanufacturing of DeLoreans in Humble, Texas.
I don't know where the fuck Humble, Texas is.
I don't know where Humble is either.
It's a big state. It could be anywhere. But
Hold
yeah,
on.
and the biggest disappointment with the DeLorean is it doesn't fly, and it's 2015. It's come and gone, and we still don't know how to make them fly. Like I knew when I got into them, I was all like, they don't fly now, but like
I've actually put some miles on one before. A
you
buddy of
know, they're
mine.
not impressive. They just drive
drives
like
them
any
around.
80 car. They're just kind
It's
of
a
like
fucking total piece of shit.
rattle all
Like it's a
over.
piece of shit.
The one
dude.
I wrote,
it
not only
fucking
is it
suspension
rattle-
is terrible. It's fucking
Yeah, like
awful.
it has like no balls at all, just no balls. Couldn't scratch the tires of its life depending on it. And the one I rode into, like not only is it just old and rattly, I mean part of that's just its age, but I remember like it smelling like mildew, and it definitely had like signs of like, yeah, it leaks around this ridiculous door seal. Of course it fucking leaks. Like it's not fucking stupidest thing ever, man.
Oh man. All right.
You know, that's
Mine was a toss up, and there were two cars that I thought were just absolutely like the pinnacle of what cars could be when I was a kid. The one I didn't pick was the Thunderbird Turbo Coupe, the late '80s Turbo Coupe.
Oh wow.
God.
And
those
because
gotta
like
be
I was like looking at it, I was like, you know what? That car holds up, man. That's still That's
Yeah,
still,
there's people that are like mega
like-
fans of those.
and I
Never
love
see
it.
them
I
anymore.
still think they're cool. So I'll just for a second, so the people in the chat know what we're fucking talking about. This is the car I didn't pick because I
This
went,
was
you
the-
know what?
This was Shade Tree's runner-up.
But you know what? That's
That
a
is
cool.
a cool
That's a
car,
cool
man.
That's a cool
dude.
fucking car.
Everybody
Of
liked
course.
those back in the day, man.
Those Fox bodies, man. Those
Yeah,
whether-
everything was built on a Fox body during that
it's
era.
pretty cool.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so, the car that did win
Sunbirds were cool.
is the car, and I thought this was just like futuristic supercar, especially in red with the decked out body kit. I just was like, man, I'm gonna own one of those cars one day, and
Well,
it's gonna be so
I guess-
fucking bad. Yeah, I guess.
It's not that Corvette with the big body kit on it, is it?
No, it's
Oh,
no,
thank
it's so
God.
lame. It's so lame.
Oh, it's lame. All right.
No, that's the point of the thing. You got to pick a car that's like actually lame that you thought was cool.
You
And
thought
it's
the
the
Corvette with
fucking-
the big body kit was
The
lame.
Grand,
Oh.
the Grand Prix.
That's the GTP, man. That was a
Yeah.
turbo.
The Grand Prix, dude. I thought that this car was so fucking cool. And this is specifically with the BBS wheels and the
Yeah.
body kit on it. I was like, man, I'm gonna own one of those cars when I grow
Those
up.
are freaking Trans Am wheels, man.
They used
That's
it.
right.
They used those as a pace car for a minute.
Yeah.
The Grand.
That doesn't
the
make
Grand
it
Prix.
not suck. It's still like a unibody, shitty fucking front wheel drive piece of crap.
Oh my God.
Well, yeah, the
Why would I say
79 Corvette was the Indy pace car, and it was a hunk of shit too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just.
I mean, you look at it. I thought it was so cool. I was like, that car
Oh,
looks
I
like
just
it's going a
did.
It
million
was
miles an
aggressive
hour.
looking.
Wait, what's that
Million
car
miles an hour
called?
standing still with its fake ass fucking hood vents and its stupid fucking body kit. Spoiler on a fucking front wheel drive car.
You're so cool,
Oh my
Brewster.
God, that is awesome.
It's
Dude, I
such
bet,
a
that,
lame
I bet
car.
that sunroof leaked like a sieve, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
I don't think there was a sunroof built before 2001 that didn't leak like
Dude,
a
I
sieve.
feel
I know.
like those cars back then though came with a red that was already slightly faded from the factory. Like,
Yeah.
Well, you know, this car is like, it comes out and you're like, that thing's going to be fucking like a faded pink in like 2 years after you own it.
yeah, those headlights are gonna be full of water.
It's like such a piece of crap. And I just fucking, like, I had a picture of that car on my fucking bedroom wall. Like, it's so cool.
Those drum brakes in the rear and those discs up front.
No, for sure. I even thought the name was cool. It was like the Grand Prix. I was like, the Grand Prix, that's a race.
Dude, my
It's a race
brother-
car.
Grand Prix.
No, my brother was driving around. He goes, "What's a grand prick or something like that?" He's like,
Oh my God.
Pricks.
That's
What's a
great.
Grand Prix?
your grandfather. That's it.
Yeah, it's a lame car. That is a really lame car. That is worth nothing now.
Take that thing over a small jump and those headlights would just fall off for some reason. Just shit mobile.
Oh, man. All right, DeFobra, you're up.
You know,
Or
I'm,
whoever.
yeah, I'm cool. I mean, I'm trying to think of what cars because I've always been into Mustangs and most of my buddies had good cars. But when I was about 15, and this is a nice picture, I'm trying to find where's the screen share. I guess I don't even know how you do this. Screen the whole share. Is this, can you see that?
Oh yeah.
No, that's a cool car.
That's- No, that's a cool one. But I knew a guy who had like a '76 Camaro. It was 3 shades of primer, and it had like it had Krager SS's on the back, and
And
like
something else on the
hubcaps on the front. I thought this car was the best car. Like I used to draw pictures of Camaros, and this
Had
is what I'm gonna
shackles on
get. Oh, it has shackles on the leash strings. Exactly.
That's so funny.
Tim knows it had the shackles on the lead. It might even had Gabriel hijackers, the air shocks in the back. But dude, it was. I mean, I worked in the South Bronx at a warehouse, and this guy, man, this car was so freaking cool. It had a hood that didn't fit. Half the interior wasn't in it. And it was like a Lotus shit 350 that had no power. But dude, I thought it was the coolest car in the world, and it was like a dream car. And then I realized that I had to aim a little higher.
those engines had like 2 smog pumps on them in that.
Oh, it was horrific. The whole car was a sled, and I think it was a 4-speed car. But like it was like missing the shift boot, so like you smell the exhaust coming through the center console. It was such a loaded
kill
shit.
you.
It was great, but it was just classic, man. It was smelled of oil and stuff. It was just cool.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. There's something about it. You ever get in one of those old cars? Like my very first car was a 1973 Chevy Nova 350 small block hatchback, man. And
wow.
it was, I mean, I never had it that fast or that fixed up. I was kind of, I was lucky to even have it in running condition.
Oh my God.
But I'll tell you, anytime I get in one of those cars these days, some 40-year-old, pony car or muscle car, the sound of the doors closing and the smell inside it. I mean, dude, it just takes you back to an era that you thought you forgot about, I guess.
Well, it's funny you say that because I'm looking at all these new Mustangs and they're so like refined. I got a text from a buddy of mine. He's a city cop and he shows up at my house. He just bought this, needs a lot of work. 88 Mustang GT out of nowhere. So we went driving around and everything's shaking. The whole thing's rattling. I'm like, this is the coolest car ever because it has so much character. I mean, it's a ton of work. But somebody just put in here, and I hope this isn't anybody else. I totally forgot about that. What about the Dodge Stealth? Remember that thing?
Oh, yes.
That's what I should have put in there. I thought that
Or
car
the
was
3000
Or the Fiero, the Pontiac Fiero. Somebody put
Pontiac Fiero, but the Pontiac Fiero holds up, man. That's a cool car.
Mitsubishi 3000 GT was holding up.
That's
about
the Pontiac Fiero was like the 80s, this fucking weird like 80s like poor man's Ferrari.
It was like the
I mean, that's a cool fucking car, man.
It was the TR6 of the 80s.
Yeah, and I'm not saying it's a good car, but it's a cool car.
But do you remember when people used to make them into Ferraris?
Yeah,
That's
that's what I was fixing to say. There's plenty of companies online right now that if you can give them a Fiero frame, they'll deliver you a Lamborghini. 20 grand.
Fucking Testarossa, that's 1/8 the size.
So, yeah, they're three-quarter size.
You pop the rear thing and it's a 2.8 V6 and you're like, oh
wow.
You can also deliver F-body Camaros or Firebirds.
Yeah.
And they'll
The frames that go to those F-bodies, they'll do the same thing,
Really?
but you don't have to lengthen the. Yeah, they'll do it for 20 grand.
So I
That's
remember
my
like
whole thing with that is you're gonna make a fake Ferrari. Like if you just put 20 grand into an old fucking Camaro, you could have a way more badass car.
And it's real.
It's like
It's
the
real.
mid-90s, like Firebirds and Camaros. At the time, I thought they were so cool, and now every time I see one on the road, it just looks like the most unstyled car in the world. Looks like a door wedge. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's funny that I was so into those at one time. It's like, and they still could be totally cool because you have like a V8 rear-wheel drive. And it's got
I
the
worked with a
control.
chick who had one just like that one, Jay, except it was red. And the first time she and I went to lunch together one day, and she was like, "Come on, let's ride my, freaking Camaro." And I was like, "All right, dude." That was the biggest dashboard I've ever seen. You could land a fucking helicopter.
Oh,
on
yeah.
that shit.
And you said the passenger seat. Remember they had that stupid fucking hump for the
They had the
catalytic
hump.
converter?
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And
half the engine was underneath the dashboard, right? So you couldn't even change the plugs. Or
Those
anything.
things were fucking retarded. Those were really not good cars.
No, and that's what brings me to my favorite car that I
There
really
we go.
sucks dick.
All right.
Oh, go ahead.
All right, lay it on us, Billy.
It's right here. You don't see it? It's
Oh,
there
yeah,
it
that's
is.
what I'm looking at.
Oh God!
That's what I was talking about. Actually,
yeah, it was a piece of crap. And then you guys didn't mention the angle of the windshield, how it loved to just reflect like a magnifying glass right in your fucking
you're right, it
eye.
does.
Oh, forgot about that. Yeah, it would cause your interior to heat up at certain angles of the sun.
Yeah, and it was made for like straight speed by somebody. So the suspension in the frame was like straight up. I mean, there was no suspension. I mean, you feel everything in the road.
But somehow it still doesn't handle well. Like it kind of body
Like, dude, yeah, you hit a squirrel with the back tire, you're dead.
The worst of all
I'm
worlds.
dead.
By the way,
But
like
it
that
looks
makes
cool.
sense because Jessica's fucking white trash blood runs deep. That is still her unapologetically still her favorite car.
The
Yeah.
Camaro?
And that's
That
what the
not
ground
just
effect-
any Camaro.
Oh, that Camaro?
That Camaro.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, and the ground effects. You got to
I didn't
realize
say she
the
had to be
kit.
with the ground effect, so it's got to have the ground effect. I
The ground effects
didn't
is
have
great.
good taste. She's with me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and that's the very kit that I had
Self-deprecation.
on mine. And this is how much I like this car. This is the very kit that I had on mine, and I traded it for a Honda Rebel.
What? Wow. That's
And Backroad Moto was born.
it.
So
That
it's a
car
good thing.
sucks.
It was a good trade because it back
It equaled out, dude. That is worth a Honda Rebel. I wasn't going to cheat anybody.
I feel like those headlights are great at not being aerodynamic. Like for the wind, like let's just capture the air and not let it go anywhere.
All right. So since we turned a bunch of motorcycle dudes talking about cars for some weird ass reason.
no shit.
All right. So now we did the worst cars we ever that we ever thought were cool. Now, what was the coolest car you ever had, either in your family or that you owned personally, that actually was a cool car? Now look those up. We'll do that one next.
All right.
Oh
Good
man,
idea.
I haven't owned too many cool things. All right, I got some.
It doesn't have. It can be anybody in your family or any kind of car you had contact with. Jim.
Nah, it's got to be my own. Fuck it. All right. Wish I had an actual photo of mine, but I'll just fucking find somebody else's.
I'll go first this time. That was last time. That was the
Oh
coolest car I
my
ever had.
god! A Daytona Turbo Z?
Hell yeah.
Dude, I had
Oh my
so
God.
much fun in that fucking thing. It
Oh my
never
God.
broke down.
We get to
You know how
pick
many
nice
people- I-
price or crack pipe. What is this shit?
I banged.
Of course that
dude,
comes
I
up.
banged. It never broke down, and it was fast as shit. I loved it. I love that car.
There people
Sorry.
fucking build crazy turbo fucking hot rods out of those things, man. Those are fucking cool
I loved it.
cars.
And that was after this model. So like when I was getting that car, I kept thinking of this model. Right? I was
That's
like,
a
damn.
Charger Daytona.
Yeah,
So
that's
a little
like,
bit of a price difference. That's excellent. That Daytona Z, man, that really is a cool car though, even now.
they were so cool, man. And then I was like, oh shit,
It's just
got a new
fucking.
one.
It was ahead of its
Dude,
time. It was ahead of its time, dude.
That's what it is.
So I had to get that one, man. But I had so much fun in that car, man. It never gave me shit.
Oh, man,
So
all
it was
these
a cool car to me.
fucking like General Motors and Ford and all these guys were doing these like crazy turbocharged small displacement sports cars in the 80s and then just gave them up. They're just like, yeah, it's not working. And then like the Japanese came in and fucking destroyed it, doing the exact same thing. Like, I'm sorry, fucking the Japanese were still making Econobox fucking shit boxes in the 80s.
The
You know,
Daytona
everyone-
was a shit box. But it just
Well, yeah,
made-
but everybody
made it
when they
cool.
think Japanese sports car, they think low displacement, forced induction. That's what you think. And American car manufacturers were doing that like crazy with the different experimental cars in the fucking late 70s and the 80s. And then in the 90s, the Japanese were just like, well, I guess that's cool. We'll do that. And then just fucking killed it. I don't know. That's what I see. That's what I see.
I liked it,
Well-
man. It had great pot stash places too. There's all kinds of places to stash pot. Even in the seat, like the seats were hollow up underneath, so you can like pinch it in between the wires. It was one of those. The hatchback was huge. Like
Alright,
it would
this
catch.
is-
Mine was manual, so it caught gears real good.
Deer catcher.
The coolest car that was ever in my family, and this was the car when I first met my dad. This was the car. He was a shitbag, but you know, when you first meet your dad when you're like 11 years old and he drives a cool car, like
It makes an impression.
Yeah.
I have a similar story.
a 300ZX, man.
Yeah,
That's a hot car.
that is a cool
And-
car, man.
I just remember thinking that was the coolest fucking thing ever, man. And now I'm like, they're fucking pieces of shit, but they're so cool. They're so cool.
No, dude, those are actually still really good cars, man. I mean,
The people that have them that keep them up. And
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's like fucking just too much technology. For
Nissan never made a bad Z car, man.
They were great cars. Just like the technology was too. It was too high speed for the fucking technology that was out there. They tried to do too much, so it's just like because I worked on a few of them as an adult, and it's just like bad electronics, just bad wiring. Everything goes every fucking which way. They're just a pain in the
Style
dick.
is very lackluster to me too. I always liked that car, but it's another car looking back. It's like it's just like another 80s, 90s car.
You know what's
Try.
what's really weird, Josh, is that when I first got kind of semi-reunited with my biological dad in the late 70s, I went and spent a couple summers in Tennessee with him, and he had a fucking 280Z. A 70,
shit.
a 77 280
Dude.
was orange.
That's fucking. You know what, man? When you're fucking, you don't know your dad. He shows up in a cool car. It's like every kid's dream come true.
Dude, we could have a whole hangout just on that dynamic. Yeah.
And he was such a shitbag. He fucking put my mom in the passenger seat, and then he had me and my sister go into the back hatch.
And they sit riding in the hatch area.
We rode in the hatch.
Yeah.
He didn't have a 2+2. He just had a 2-seater.
And it was just a 2-seater. And he just opened up the rear hatch, and we just kind of like laid down underneath the hatch, and that's where we would ride
Cooking on
around.
that back glass.
It's just like, it was a simpler time.
For sure.
Okay. I guess I can go next. All right. So this car is this kind of made me love muscle cars, but this was what my mom had when I was a little bitty kid. She didn't have it new, but she had a mid 60s Galaxy
63?
500.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
Now my mom's was red. It was red with red interior. I have a feeling that one probably was red at some point since it has red interior, but you never know how people customize these days.
I love those old fucking 60s cars where all the windows go down.
Oh yeah, dude.
That's
that
so
car.
cool.
I have so many early memories of my life, like as a little kid. I'm talking like 5-6 years old, when you're forming those first memories of things that make impressions upon you that are going to stay with you. That car, man, I remember the windows down by Lake Nasworthy in San Angelo. My mom and all her friends. Of course, my mom had me when she was 17 years old. So when I was 5 or 6 years old, she was still in her early 20s and partying and having all these parties with friends and all these hot rods and all these memories down by the lake in San Angelo. And dude, I can't articulate the memories that a car like that brings back for me. It's so funny how your mind works like that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Captain Kirsch in the side chat, one of my fucking Twitter buddies.
Dude, that car looks like if a dog stuck its head out of the window on the way home, it would burn off. I like that.
All right, who's next?
I'll go.
Yeah,
I guess. The coolest car I ever had was my. I'll show you this car. Let me get it ready here. All right, so it is that car right there.
Oh
Really
yeah.
That had that car forever. That was my 1988 Mustang GT that I built. I raced it. I had that thing apart more than I had it together.
That's the actual car?
That was my actual car. Yeah,
That's
it was
your car.
88.
Oh, that was your car. You own that.
Yeah, that's mine. That was mine.
Oh,
I
yeah,
sold
shit.
it like 7 years ago, just because it got too fast. It was no way to drive it around. We made too much. It was just too much power for it.
Yeah.
But it was great because I got it as a stock car from a mom who had outgrown it, and it was cool. Like I said, I painted 90% of that car in my garage, and I swung 3 engines in my garage, 2 transmissions. I blew a lot of head gaskets in it. It was a fun car though. This was the engine that was in there.
Too much compression.
It was well, yeah, and too much boost. I used to blow the heads off too much, but it was a good car. It was a lot of fun. I did a lot of things that
There was a lot of noise
Holy
happening under
crap,
the hood
man.
in those, man.
it was a nice.
So did your intercooler, is it in front of the radiator? What did you do?
No, that wasn't intercooled. It was just a Vortec V1S trim, the old one that made a lot of noise. So it was not intercooled. Like 12, 13 pounds of boost. It made just about 500 rear wheel horsepower, all smog, full catalytic converters. It wasn't automatic, and then I stopped racing and I put a stick in it. It was a nice car. I put big brakes on it and stuff. But like I said, there comes a time when I was like, it was just sitting around. What am I going to do with it? But it was a fun car. I had a lot of fun with the car. I'll say that.
Yeah, those things would swing out sideways on a 90-degree turn real nice.
I used to have to drive it daily.
I think you've got the fucking best looking Mustang. The Mustang Edge is my out of everything, my favorite one they ever did.
Oh, the silver one?
No, the Edge, the one you have now.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've had that car. That car we've had since 2000.
What?
It was just the silver Mustang, the one
No, I thought that was new.
No, it's a 99.
No,
Yeah,
I thought it was like new.
That's
to
the
you.
one he let sit in his garage for
Yeah,
so many years.
It was
Yeah.
sitting in the garage for about 4 years, untouched.
I must have missed. I
uncovered.
must have missed your intro to fucking
Yeah.
building
I
it or
was-
something like that
Yeah,
because I've only seen the videos after that. I thought you bought that specifically to build.
No. I've had that car. I bought that from my wife, and when it was like 6 months old, because I had my Fox body, and that was my car, and I was like, "Hey, let's get you a Mustang." And you want to laugh? You know what kind of car she had before that? A white Grand Prix. It looked just like the one you put up, and I was like, "Oh my god!" That's great. So yeah, we got the Mustang, and it was good. It's a good car. I mean, we had a lot of fun with it too, but it kind of just sat around, and it's got no mileage on it, and it's pretty much stock. So playing around with that now.
Oh, that's fucking cool.
So we were talking about dream cars, right? Like,
Yeah.
what about practicals?
That's I've had a few Mustangs. I had a Fox body and I had an Edge. I had a 2002 Edge, and then I had a 1969 Mustang as well.
Oh, 69.
Yeah, that's
Fastback?
was my no, it was a notchback.
Okay.
But that was my if it was a fastback, Jesus. No, it was a notchback, but it was a V8. That was my daily driver for like 3 or 4 years. I drove that thing fucking goddamn. I must have put like 50,000 miles on that car.
Yeah.
Wow.
The best
All four,
performing.
no fucking power brakes, 4-wheel drum. I fucking drove that car fucking everywhere, dude.
Had a strong right foot.
No, I mean it was fucking crazy. You had to. You've obviously driven a 4-wheel drum non-power brake car before. You have to stand
They slow
on that
down. They don't
motherfucker,
really
dude.
stop.
No, they don't stop. They just slow down. You had to stand on that for anything, like a normal stop. Coming up to a stoplight, you just like you got to grip the steering wheel and fucking like push down on it so fucking hard.
We had a truck like that. It was insane. It was fucking not cool.
These fucking things right here, though. I had one of these, and
An
man,
Exploder?
yeah, dude. This model though is like making you
You
feel
had an Eddie Bauer?
rich.
Oh yeah, man, fucking got that Eddie Bauer fucking life, dude. Fucking rolling out hard.
Oh,
The
it
Eddie
was,
Bauer.
that
edition.
was so
That's a
fucking
nice-
sweet, man.
That's nice.
I know, a 90s model fucking SUV. It was fucking rad DVD player inside, and they all had like 5.0 fucking windows. So you
Power
if the cop stopped you,
antenna.
like this is stock, bitch.
Well, I've got my horrible car. That's
Oh yeah, let's see it.
it was. I mean, like we're going for cool factor, right? This and so like, and I guess I should tell you, like my families don't really own cool cars. I've never really been into it. Like, my mom had a Spitfire back in the day, but it was before I was born. So that doesn't count. It's got to be in my time. So. This is not the best car I've ever owned by far, but if you go for cool factor, this is the only photo I could find. I'll show it better in a minute here, but this is an it's an Acura Integra. This was a hilarious photo I took one night after a windstorm. It looked like a Prius. Look at the back of it.
Yeah, it does look weird. Yeah,
Here's just like a random photo. This is
8
like
inches
silly.
of snow on it.
Yeah, those were nice, man.
Back when we were in high school, Integras were the fucking business.
Yeah, but I wasn't in high school. That was the problem. It was like
Oh.
I bought one of these off my buddy just to daily beat and drive around because I was like it was a bad time, dude. My R1 got stolen. I didn't have good insurance on it, so I had liability. So I was just fucked, and I had to keep paying for it. Then my 1997 Mercury Cougar, which is like the first car I ever owned, it just like got to that mechanical point. There's too much wrong with it. And I needed a car fucking fast. My buddy sold me his Integra for like, I think he sold to me for like 2,000 something bucks. And it only had like 140 something thousand miles on it. And a car like that's fucking nothing.
Oh
That was the one up on the Prelude.
Right.
At the Honda Prelude, they were
At the
like,
risk of discussing motorcycles, I got to ask you this question. Jake, how in the hell did you end up financing an R1 without full coverage? How did that happen?
They just didn't. They didn't ask. I mean, I know they're supposed to, but they just didn't. I fucking bought a new bike. I'm financing a bike right now.
You know what they used to do, Tim? They used to they give it to you on a credit card.
They didn't give it to me on a credit card.
Yeah,
though.
but rotating credit.
I actually had a really good interest rate because my grandfather co-signed it. Like the lowest as they would go on that thing. But no, like they just didn't fucking look into it. They didn't even bring it up. I knew you were supposed to, but
they were hungry for that sale, is what it was.
Yeah, like when I was briefly selling bikes, like they would check. You had to like tell them you had it before you left.
Dude, you want to talk about here's some
But
fucking
anyway.
shit with bikes? They will fucking give a bike to anybody, by the way.
They will. But that thing was fun, dude. That was a little 5-speed. Sorry, I just saying, it was a little 5-speed, little fucking front wheel drive, little like you could have fun with a car like that. It's probably one of the best
it's a good
handling
little car.
cars I've ever had because I've never really owned any sporty cars. Like my
Power
Ford
brake
Fusion
slides.
my Ford Fusion.
Apparently, Harley will give anybody a bike too. Anybody.
They fucking will.
But you got like my literally my daily driving sedan would like fucking beat the shit out of that stupid car.
But there's
it's not
something
fun.
about like I said, I loved that my Mercury Lynx was a 5-speed front wheel drive small car, and there's just something about like a little light small front wheel drive with it. With
It's
gotta have if it has a stick shift, then you're like, this is fun. You can have fun with it.
Yeah, and a couple of the nice like good twisty roads to go rip up and down, and like that's where that thing was fun, man. When you're going into a turn and you're grabbing some nice little downshifts and you're trying to be like the Japanese guy you watched on the video and you're trying to do that fucking heel popping to get the fucking rev match for the downshift. And that shit was fun, dude. That's where that car was fun as shit. And it was such a cheap car. I just didn't give a fuck, man. I'll tell you, like a car like that too, because it was 94, it was like pre-OBD2. I remember I ordered an intake for it, an entire intake, because it was cheaper than buying a new air filter. It was like a short ram intake. And I worked a mile down the road from where, like I lived a mile down the road from where I worked at, right? At the Sam's Club. I went home for lunch break, threw one of those fucking like Tostino's pizzas in the oven, cooked it. While I was cooking, I ran outside, took a Phillips screwdriver, put my fucking short ram intake on, went back inside, ate my Tostino's pizza, down to fucking like 20-something ounce beer, which I used to do regularly when I worked a mile down the road. I guess I'm about to tell you I'm about to drink and drive in fucking Russians, but it was just a mile. But then I drove back to work, and I drove back to work, and I remember thinking like, fuck me, this car is easy to work on. Like I think I was just out there like drinking beer with a fucking Phillips screwdriver, all in 30-minute time, and go back to work like no problem at all.
Hell yeah.
That thing is fucking sick. By the way, just 120 would be a lot. It's a mile down the road.
I used to think Integras were so fucking cool when I was in high school. They were like the unattainable car too. They were like, man, anybody can have a Civic, but if you got an Integra, you got money.
Yeah, like well, the thing too is like nobody
that's
ever had
next
these
level.
LSs too. Like the LS was like it's not the VTEC one. It's real sought after, but it's not the single overhead cam. It was a 1.8 dual overhead cam, so it had some fucking go to it. The funny thing was I had that Mercury Cougar I had was a 3.8 liter fucking V6, like all cast iron, heavy as shit. Those things were rated at 140 horsepower. My Integra with a 1.8 liter was rated at 140 horsepower. Like, come on, America, get your shit together. What are you doing?
Was it a GSR?
No, it was just an LS, but the LS are very
wow.
much. The GSR ones were the ones with the VTEC motors. Those were like 160, I think, horsepower. Those fucking
that humble 3.8 liter V6 was also in the fucking Buick Grand National.
Well, yeah, and they also had that supercharged version in the Thunderbird, the SC.
Not the Thunderbird. You're thinking of the Buick. God, they made that coupe. Then that was supercharged.
Well, they had the Thunderbird SC, and that was a supercharged 3.8.
But that's not a GM product.
Well, that's not a GM product here. It's a Ford.
We're talking about the Grand National.
Thunderbird's Ford, man.
I didn't think you say Thunderbird. I thought you said
I had a Mercury Cougar. It's the same.
No, the Cougar.
I thought you said, for some reason, I thought you said Grand Prix. Never mind.
No.
Oh, no.
Yeah. That was basically that had the 3.8 and the 4.6. You could get the same ones you get in the Mustang, but not
No. I'm sorry. I thought for some reason I thought you said Grand Prix. I was thinking of like the older.
There's fucking dudes. I've seen guys that get like those like if you have one of those Cougars from those years or the Thunderbirds, they got the 4.6, man, they'll fucking go ham on those things. I've seen guys that like throw a bunch of work to it. It's a heavy car, but I mean, shit.
My favorite car I ever owned, man, was I had a 1993 Lincoln Mark 8.
A Mark 8. That's a Cobra engine.
Yeah, it was the first year. It was before the Cobra. They didn't actually put it in the Cobra until '94. And that was an all aluminum block, double overhead camshaft, something like 310 horsepower. And the 93s were the fastest. When that car came out in 1993, it set the world land speed record for a stock car. I mean, it went like 186 miles an hour or something.
Crazy, like dude.
And it was fast as fuck. And you know what? I bought that car when I was about 19 years old for like $2,500.
So the big question was it pearl white?
It was not. It was black with gold fucking. It was black with gold fucking rims, dude.
You can't pimp without pearl white on a Lincoln. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
it
let's
was,
say, I
it
don't
was
think I've
pretty
seen
nice.
him
It was
ride
somebody had done. So it wasn't just the gold rims. Somebody had done. You remember those guys that would come out? They used to go out and do it in the parking lot, and they would electroplate all the chrome on your car gold.
No.
No,
Some,
I never
that's
heard of that.
Florida shit, right?
That's definitely Florida
No.
shit right there.
I fucking people do it all the time down here. Like all the like chrome, like the badging and stuff like that, all like the plastic chrome. They'll just electroplate it gold, and it had that done to it. So all the chrome trim on it, every single like the Mark 8, all the chrome like bumper trim, everything was gold.
Even the front grill? The front
Yeah,
grill?
the front grill was gold too. Everything.
That's the pimp edition right there.
I fucking loved it, man. That car hauled fucking ass, dude. I was into cars at the time, so I knew what it was. And it was just sitting in some fucking back lot, had like 50,000 miles on it, like no miles, all fucking perfect. $2,500.
Wow.
$2,500 I paid for that car. Yeah, it's like was like a $55,000 car.
Were the airbags blown out, or were they still okay
Nope.
on that one?
The car was fucking perfect.
Oh, great.
It had the transmission was fucking when it would shift into second gear, it would chirp the tires because they had but literally it was a transmission flush away from working. Like when I did a transmission flush on it, worked fine.
Usually do the transmission flush and fucking going to shit for some reason. But
Yeah,
You can unlock some shit up in there. Yeah.
it's like the gunk and fucking bullshit up in there is like somehow holding it together. You go
Yo.
around,
They can, but for a lot of them, and especially those older, those like early '90s Ford transmissions, the automatic transmissions, they'll fucking build up shit in the valve body. They'll build shit up, and the transmission flush does wonders for them.
Yeah, no, I did do one to my Mercury Cougar. I remember it fucking like it got all fucky at one point. Didn't know what gear to be in at all in a given moment. Like the torque converter was like fucking, it was all grabby and shit. And I thought, fuck, it's gonna need a whole new torque converter. And I just go there and they fucking just do a flush on it.
Oh, that was the other thing too. The fucking air suspension was out in it, so it was like on the ground.
Wait, what car was this?
The Lincoln Mark 8.
Your car, the more you
that's
describe
what I
this
said.
thing, it's
That's
funny,
what I
it
meant when I said with the airbags blown out. Because usually,
No, the airbags were totally blown out. That was one of the reasons it was so cheap. But again, like I said, I was into cars at the time. I was a mechanic at a Ford dealership. Literally, I just bolted on the struts from a Thunderbird on it.
There you go.
Like, fucking done.
Smart.
Well, see, like I had
scared of it.
for a minute there, I had I also had me a nice aluminum block 32 valve V8. It sounds on paper like I got some cool shit, but it was just a fucking Cadillac.
It was a Cadillac
DeVille.
North Star, yeah.
It's a 98 DeVille. I mean, it had some fucking go to it. To be fair, it might even fucking like if you get to not spin the shit out of the front tire, it fucking was pretty quick. But for a big
I always thought that was so lame. Cadillac's front wheel drive bullshit.
yeah, but like, oh yeah, the engine was so hard to fucking work on. It was so crammed under the hood of that thing. I remember the air conditioner. That was cool though for 98. I mean, you had digital everything. You had fucking climate control and all that cool shit on it, right? For 98, it was fucking nuts. But I remember, yeah, the blower motor stopped working, right? So we go get a new blower motor, and we started fucking to get to the blower motor. We had to unbolt the motor, like slightly unbolt the motor in the transmission and jack the car up a bit, to get to the fucking blower. Like the fucking engine's in the way, right?
Ridiculous.
So like, cause yeah, I mean, I called up, was like, what is this going to cost? And it was like fucking 12 hours of work. So I was like, yeah, fuck that. So then me and my buddies did it, and it was like 20 hours of work. But you know what? We fucking did it for a case of beer. I remember too, I had to go to work. We were in the middle of working on it. I had to leave and go to work, and they fucking kept at it. And they were sending me photos. It was so funny. They got the blower motor out, and it was just full of mud daubers. They fucking cleared it out. We returned the blower motor. It was like 20 hours of work to get the blower motor out, knock a fucking mud dauber out with a screwdriver, and put it back together. But we fucking, that car was just nuts. I remember doing the O2 sensors on it because of that back bank, the bank behind the fucking, between the firewall and the. God, it was such a motherfucker. At one point, I was on top of the car with my hands like down under it, and my brother-in-law's under it, and we both can get like 2 fingers on the screwdriver, right? Or on this wrench. We're fucking it gets loose. We got it loose. And then how you're supposed to put like anti-seize on those fucking O2 sensors? I was like, dude, there's no way we can get proper torque on this thing. we're putting Loctite on it. We're going the other direction with this one, boys, because you can only like snug it down and go and like give it a tiny little push.
I do not miss working on cars, man.
Oh,
Not
that thing
in the
sucked, dude. I had to
slightest.
carry I had a milk crate in the back full of coolant and oil because that motherfucking engine just shot it out.
Speaking of working on stuff, sound off in the side chat. Who here is going to MMI in the side chat? I know there's got to be somebody. Maybe somebody who's watching right now who's going to MMI.
Well, there was
Speaking
a
of
motor
working on
that
shit,
was
man, that chopper build
yeah.
looks fantastic.
there was a fucking there was a God, what is that thing? Is it 4.6 or something? It's not that big either. I can't remember how big that engine was. That
In
North
what
Star,
car was that?
that North Star. I don't think it was
Oh,
a
the Mustang.
4 something. It wasn't quite a 5. I remember that.
I got to share with you this car. I had this car. I always had because I had my Mustang. I always had shit boxes. I used to drive around. I had old Subarus. This shit box, I totally forgot about. It was awesome.
Hey, I hear kids crying. Take a shit. Might be back. See it.
All right.
Okay.
So it is that car. Do you see that car?
Hell yeah!
Hold on. Let me maximize that. Oh
You-
yeah, dude.
Hold on. Except it didn't look like that. It had awesome. It didn't have one door didn't have an interior door panel. The power windows didn't work. I had a vice grip on the column for a gear shift indicator. For the shifter, I mean. So I used to have to use this big vice grip, and it was great for anti-theft because I would just take the vice grip off and you couldn't get it into gear. It was awesome.
Stealing that fucking thing.
It stunk. It was humongous. It had no suspension, so I used to float down the road, and everybody was afraid of it. But it was freaking awesome. I love that thing.
Did you ever see the
Oh,
Did you ever see the TV show Cannon?
no.
Okay, yeah, he drove one of those.
Hey, but a car like that though is one of those cars you can work on the engine and basically stand under the
you
hood
can
with the
stand in
engine.
there. I didn't want to touch it. It was great. It was a 78 Mark V, dude. It was a badass car.
That Cadillac I had that same thing where it had like an air suspension and it was blown out on it. And there was a way you could just put normal struts on it, but you had to get this fucking sensor. But yeah, the thing was like your car just floated down the road in the worst way.
Didn't feel a thing.
No,
It would just change lanes on me.
It was yeah, because you could go over a bump. Yeah, the fucking thing they get washy like that. They fucking don't hold the road at all. I remember getting into a parking lot with it, like fucking my wife. She, like we were just fucking like body rolling it, making it slide into like turns, like just all fucking no control, just like big open parking, like it's like 40 and like flick it one way and flick it back the other way and just let the body roll take over.
Oh man.
Slide, just hammering the throttle, so like it's just white smoking the shit out. The front tires are just wah, cars spinning backwards and shit.
Dude, if I could, I'm telling you right now, man, if I could get my hands on this one right here, I would turn it into the biggest slab you have ever seen in your life.
What is that, a Mark IV?
That one, I think it is a Mark IV, actually. Hold on, let me see if I can.
You take that car and make it
That just looks badass.
I think it could be cool.
Dude.
I don't know why. I just think that would look fucking insane.
You could have a family reunion on that hood, dude.
I'll talk about good fucking cars, and this is actually the exact color of the one that I owned. This was a daily driver for a long time as well. And at the time, like I owned this car and the Mustang at the same time. And I remember thinking like this was so lame compared to the Mustang. But looking back, I'm like, if I could pick one to still own, it'd probably be this one. The 68 Fury 3.
Oh yeah, dude.
Oh, wow.
Any of the Furies are gold.
That's not that. That's nice.
Well, mine was nice too. It had a great paint job. It was good condition, but it had a 318 in it. It was just such a dog. I mean, it didn't move. It couldn't get out of its own way.
Yeah, but they all had even a 4-door. Like that one's a 4-door.
Mine was a 4-door.
Yeah, certain like Galaxies are another one. Galaxies and Furies and Falcons. The 4-doors still have a lot of value compared to a lot of other 4-door muscle cars.
I thought it was so cool because I was like, man, it looks like. And even I had it when I was just out of high school, and I remember thinking like, man. Even then, GTOs were commanding like big money, even though classic cars are still really cheap compared to now.
Yeah.
And I mean, this thing was probably in this condition. That paint, like all the chrome was good, interior was good. and it bought it for like $2,500 or something like that. Running, drove it home. You know,
They use those for cop cars too.
and I remember thought it was so. I was like, it's like a poor man's GTO. Like it looks just like a GTO. I thought it was so cool.
Yeah, I think those were cop cars, DeFobra.
Yeah, they were. The
Yeah.
the Furies. I remember. See, something that I was always really good at is knowing the headlights of cop cars. I'm sure you guys.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, to this day.
But now it's tough because those around here they use Totoris, but back in the day like Crown Victorias, and what was the one before? What was the Dodge? The Dodge Diplomat, right?
Yeah.
You remember that?
No, they never
Yeah,
used it down
Diplomats were
here.
huge.
It was always Crown Vics.
No, it was the Diplomats. Yeah, we used to drive around the city. A buddy of mine had it was an X taxi cab, and it was like painted with a brush blue. It was really nasty, but it was great because we used to like go into Queens with it, and everybody would get out of the way. It was awesome. We, a bunch of
Holy
17-year-old
shit, guys.
idiots
Fucking,
driving around. Like what do you found here?
There's the
Jim
classic.
Leahy. Jim
there's-
Leahy's dead, apparently. The guy
Oh
that
yeah,
plays-
yeah. He died today or
Holy shit,
yesterday
man.
or something. Yeah. There's a Fury Sheriff's Department.
That's cool.
Oh shit!
Yeah. Dude, that is cool.
I didn't even know that. I
Yep.
should have.
Oh yeah, the Chevy Caprice. Somebody else said the Chevy Caprice was another big cop car. That's right.
Oh yeah. In the 80s, especially the Caprice. Yeah.
I had a buddy. He used to build race engines, and he dropped like a. What did he drop? He dropped a 383 stroke motor into a or a 350 into a Caprice, and did all this open headers. We used to drive around with open headers on it. It's just my friends had some really bizarre cars.
Well, I pulled this one up here just to make a point that like
Ooh, the
it's always the
Mirage.
worst car you have that like won't die. This was the car I got with when I started dating my wife, and then for a couple years when we were married, we had this thing. I remember I got a new pickup truck at some point. And she decided that was her, so this became mine.
The gayest name for a car.
The Mirage.
Mirage. It's
Yeah, I
not
wish it was a
real.
Mirage. I wish it
It's
was.
not really there. You
Is
just
it really there?
I wish it would disappear when I came out to
$7,500
it. By the way, this
on it.
example, this one here, like mine had hubcaps, did not have these little fog
Wow.
lights, but it was this color green. Didn't have this shitty wing on the back. Would have ripped it off anyway.
Sporty.
But dude,
It's
this
such
car,
a piece of shit car.
this car,
It's
yeah,
like such
it
a
wouldn't-
fucking like
it would
lame
die.
attempt. It's
And
such a lame attempt at making a car. It's like
They
so-
tried. They phoned it in, dude.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, too, man. This car had like
It's just like if you described a car to somebody, like a shitty car to somebody who'd never even seen a car. Period. This is what they.
This is what you'd say.
It looks like something that cars had devolved into in the Logan's Run era.
And especially when you look at the ass end of it, like you're like that's pretty bad, and then you look at
actually
it like, oh no, that's
Lancer
really
back then.
bad.
That's what the
Yeah,
Lancers
what
used to
happened
look like.
was they got 3/4 through the design and ran out of R&D money. So
I gotta tell you though, man. This particular one my wife had was like a 4-speed auto, I guess a 3-speed overdrive, and it had a 1.5 liter. And a lot of them came with a 1.8, and the 1.5 I think actually got slightly worse gas mileage because it was just struggled so much, man. It was such a horrible fucking engine. I think they were rated like 80 something horsepower. So that's like at the flywheel, when they're new. This one went. This is how fucking long it went. Of course it went this fucking long. 280,000 miles on the damn thing.
oh yeah,
It had gotten so bad by then. It had so
Japanese.
like it had so much blow by. Like you could take.
bust you up with this shit, man. Fucking
Well,
There is
you could do that thing. You could run it up the highway. Like if you're going into an overpass, you absolutely had to have the AC off, and you had to you couldn't hold the throttle wide open because of course it would bog for some fucking reason because you're a piece of shit. But you had to like fucking give it all you had. Like you don't understand. Like you're just trying to drive to fucking work, and you're like it's like this. Fucking, you have to concentrate way too hard just to make it over the overpasses in flat ass Texas. The thing's like, "Argh!" It would lose speed like on the flat before I'd get up to it. I try to get up to as much speed as I could. The car could go about 80 if you tried hard, and I'd be at 60 at the top. That way, I'm not pissing off too many people in traffic around me.
Yeah, but you know what part of that was, especially in the mid 90s, was that they were detuning all of those engines. That's why you see so many of those still running today, is because they detuned the engines so badly for emissions that they basically reduced the amount of wear they would have otherwise had on them by another 50%. And that's why
My dirt bike has a bigger throttle body than that thing has. On
Yeah.
it.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can't even pull air in good. There's this tiny little fucking throttle body, this shit little intake box on there.
Oh god.
Here's how bad the car was too. It didn't have a power antenna, but the antenna did go up and down.
So it was a manual.
It was a manual antenna. You could see where they put it. You can actually see. You can roll down the window just a little bit. You can grab it and you can fling it up, or you can put it down. Yep.
Oh wait, it was on the A-pillar, right?
Oh, that's
right there.
right.
on
I
the pillar, so
remember
you can grab
those.
it.
God, it's the gayest thing ever.
Worst fucking.
Talk about a kick. Talk about a
It's just
kick.
one
The
of those
car wouldn't
joke,
fucking
dude.
die. Hey, dude, to be fair though, the starter, the alternator, the AC, like the fucking thing, it did hold up. I hated it held up because it was such a shitty car, but it did not fucking break. It was so
They all
reliable.
smell
It
the
pissed
same,
me
man.
off.
They just all smell like melted Crayolas and shame inside of them.
I wanted this thing to blow up every day, and then you know what finally happened? I was in the middle looking at my car that I bought now. It was like a 2012 Ford Fusion thing, and I was on the fence about buying it. I was driving this thing every day, and the AC hadn't worked in the whole last year I had it. And I ran over a bucket, right? A big plastic bucket going 70 miles an hour. This car did not have one leak. That many miles didn't have one fucking drip under the car.
As soon
After
as
I
you
hit
hit
that
the
bucket, going to work, the radiator, the transmission, the engine, the power, like everything but power steering. I was even losing brake fluid. Like somehow, like it ripped underneath the car and broke everything, and that was the day I went trade.
So it literally kicked the bucket.
They kicked the bucket.
Literally ruined the car.
I-
Plastic bucket took that car 280,000 miles on the road. Fucking holds up everything. A bucket, yeah, from Home
I
Depot.
can't help but think that Jake hit the bucket on purpose. I'm
I
sorry.
didn't try to swerve as hard as I could.
Yeah, I know.
I saw it coming.
Oh no, it was a bucket.
Yeah.
I better turn
Oh,
down.
no.
Oh man, it was okay. Fuck it.
I love the antenna.
All right. So speaking of really shitty cars, there's a dude in my neighborhood who I don't think the top goes up because the top's always down. Who rocks one of these like with his whole family in it on the reg. They just fucking roll out.
Oh yeah, man.
The old Chrysler.
Yeah,
The
that's old.
Chrysler K. No, like I don't think
That's
the
a
top
K
goes
car
up.
right there, man.
It is
K
a
car,
K
and
car.
they fucking
That-
put everybody in it, and he's
That's
got
the
like his
Lee
son.
Iacocca special right there.
The wood paneling is such like
The
a
same
classic
guy who
car.
invented the
So over the
GT40
top.
invented this. That's so sad.
like, hey, we
Oh
want
my
to make
God,
a wood
that is
panel
the
version. They just
funniest.
stick fucking wood panels over the existing panels. It's so obvious. It's so terrible.
So there's a guy in the neighborhood that takes his whole family out like on purpose, and he wants to be seen in that, and the whole day.
I don't know, dude. It's a fucking. I'll be honest with you, DeFobra. I'm trying not to be fucking cruel when I'm talking.
No,
about
no,
him.
of course not.
But like this dude, like everybody looks like they smell like corn nuts. And
Did you ever
they're
see
just
that?
Like they're just like dusty. They're very dusty people.
There's a
The thing about the K cars, man, and here's a perfect example. This my buddy Curtis, his girlfriend Lisa, who he went out with in high school, she had a K car that it was this exact K car I'm about to show you right now. This one right here. Okay, now look at the K car you have shared Shade Tree and this K car, and you can see that it's exactly the same car. Like they took the Fox body concept and they took it to a factor of 1,000,000.
Yeah.
Like all of those during the Iacocca K car era, all those cars were the same damn car.
That's what he's. And for people who are wondering, that's who invented. I mean, there were companies who were doing it before a little bit, but when you look at the whole idea of a multi-platform car, that's Lee Iacocca all day long, and this is where it started.
Yeah, well, he had to save Chrysler, and this is how he did it. So I give him credit for that. But you know what the weird thing about this photo is? That bitch's car was exactly this color, this year model, everything. That's like freaking me out looking at that.
White walls, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, she had the little white walls with the big giant.
Everybody would
Hubcaps.
always get those white walls, and then so many people do just never bothered scrubbing the
From
blue shit off of them.
We had
So they
other
were
things on
always
our mind.
blue. Anyway, so I say this dude's fucking whole family rolls out of his car. It's him, his wife. He's like bald, big fucking beard. His wife is large, and then like what I assume, and no teeth, like fucking scraggly ass hair. And then like his son is in the back, is always in the back seat, and he's huge, like takes up the whole back seat. Like,
If you guys
fucking
wanna laugh.
enormous. The dude is enormous. Like, and fucking has got all his arms are all hanging out. Fucking, and then like what I assume is the grandma is like because she doesn't take up very much room. Is always in the back. So.
If you guys want to laugh, you gotta check that. It's a spoof of the Dodge Aries. It's been around forever.
That was hilarious, man.
If you watch it, you gotta laugh.
What is it?
Just that little. I put the link on the side. If you click on it,
Cool.
it's a spoof of a Dodge Aries commercial. It's it's beautifully done.
Here, I'll share it out to the side chat. So
Yeah, share it out, especially when it goes boom.
Oh, I've seen this. Yeah, this is like, I think this is like pre-YouTube, dude. This is old.
That's old. I know. It's so.
Have you ever seen the ones
funny.
where people they would do I always wanted to do one of these but I didn't know how to do camera work as well. I probably could pull it off now. When people would Top Gear review their own car, but it's like a piece. It has to be like a piece of shit car. It's not funny, but you do like a Jeremy Clarkson style like review of your own car. And you get your buddies to do all these cinematic shots and everything. And you gotta have that point where like you'd probably think something, but you'd be wrong. You have to kind of do it like that and go into some action shot of this fucking hunk of shit sliding sideways. Fucking this mad e-brake grabbing and shit.
oh my god, the K cars were horrible. I'm looking through all these freaking K cars.
I love that. Over 85% of Aries owners have a fixed address. That's so fucking good.
It's just such a good car.
Seen that like on.
I just like when he goes, I like the cool stuff. He's like, it just makes me laugh. I haven't seen that in forever, but that is a classic one. Just to spoof the Aries.
Oh my gosh. Okay, this one, not to get off of the spoof, but this was the other. If you guys were alive in the 80s and have memories of the late 80s, this was the other K card that you always saw everywhere. Everybody had these little two-door K cars with this little dumbass window right here.
That car in front of that house, man.
That was very familiar.
Yeah.
It's like we've seen this before. The only thing that's tripped me up is the two satellites on the roof. Like it wouldn't have those. It would have one of those really big ones in the backyard.
I'll download this and Photoshop out the.
That is a great car. Oh my god! Look at
Well,
that.
that car. The whole thing is that car is still out in front of that house. It's just got 4 flat tires.
That's what to say.
It's still there.
Rust on the hood.
Yeah.
Headlights are full of water.
I'm going to drag this into Photoshop and take the satellite dishes out so it'll have the right look to it. Oh my god!
I love that the house has 2 satellite dishes, though, which means they went with 2 different satellite companies.
Yeah, they were.
Like, we tried out one for a while. They left the satellite dish, and then like we got roped into the same bullshit at Best Buy again.
Well, they went to no, it was something like this. They went to collect the old one after they canceled the service. They were coming on my property, and that was that.
You see what kind of car's in my driveway, son? You think the owner of a K car will let you onto his property?
I honestly haven't seen a so I saw. What did I see yesterday? I saw a Dodge Omni yesterday out of nowhere. It just like drove right by me, and it was like seeing a ghost. But I haven't seen a K car in forever.
Oh, me neither, because none of them run anymore.
Oh, they're all broken down. Oh God, that's awesome.
All right, man. Let's let the photoshopping begin. Let's get to work here, boys.
All right, guys. I think I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna get to bed.
Yeah. I gotta start cooking
All right,
dinner,
man.
too.
Have a
Thanks
good
for the
night.
laughs, man. God, a lot of laughing tonight.
Oh yeah, this was hilarious, man.
This is ridiculous.
This was a fun night for sure, man. I hate that Neil got kind of robbed.
Yeah.
He was missed. He's got to answer all these questions on next Monday night now.
Yeah. He's got to make amends. He's got to make an account for what happened.
All right.
I gotta actually roll out too. I gotta fucking cook dinner still.
Oh, well, is this it then?
Well, I mean, I can leave it on.
If it's just me and Tim,
Yeah,
I mean, I like Tim and all. I think we could have a nice conversation.
I'm right there with you, man. I'm just now. I'm just trying to Photoshop out these freaking satellite dishes. I'm getting there. Now I got some repair work to do. Now that I've got the satellite dishes out.
The tree's a little fuggy.
Yeah, it's a little fucky. I need to get in there. I'm gonna have to get in close.
Get in close. Have to
do
get
this right.
stick his head in there.
Yeah, it's gonna take me.
I'm like intrigued on how Photoshop works. I don't know how to do this.
Oh, dude, you can do it. Anybody can do it. It's if you
and I've forgotten how to do it now. But when I was in school, I took photojournalism, like high school one year. and we learned how to use Photoshop. And then I thought I'd impress the teacher. I showed her that I made I took my license, which was like in Texas they do these weird like sideways licenses when you're under 21, so it's like super clear that you're under 21. Well, I made a like Jake's like 22-year-old license in high school and fucking printed it out and laminated. It was like, bam, check that out. I got some skills. Thinking, like, that's pretty good. You've done good. And I got in a lot of trouble for doing that.
Yeah.
Saturday schools for that one, and then I wasn't allowed to use Photoshop anymore.
I didn't have time for no fucking computers in high school. I had a motorcycle, so.
Man, you're lucky I didn't have a motorcycle in high school. I had to move out to buy a motorcycle. Give you an idea. So when people are all like, "Go fund me for a bike," my parents won't buy me one. I'm like, "Then get the fuck out of your fucking house and buy one. Be poor, eat fucking bread and drink water because you wanted a motorcycle." Because that's what I did.
I wish I hadn't have had a motorcycle in high school because I might have learned how to do computers and I probably have a lot more money now.
Nah, they're not worth it. Not that much fun.
Well, my parents would not let me. They wouldn't let me ride motorcycles until I was in college. Like, I wanted my primary mode of transportation in high school to be motorcycles, and they were like, "Nope, not going to happen." And actually, in retrospect, they were probably right. But it's just kind of one of those things where you examine the what ifs. Actually, I probably would have killed myself, so it's all good.
No, man. My very first bike was 1989 GSXR 750. Bought it when I was 17.
Yeah.
Which year was it?
89 GSXR 750.
Air-cooled?
Which I promptly fucking wrecked the fuck out of.
Yeah.
That's pretty good right there. I mean, I could spend another half hour on it and really clean it up, but there you go. There's your full 80s with no
Give me at a glance, it's fine.
At a glance, it's
where those
fine.
stupid sound of the lights were, so I can see it's kind of fuckeried, but
yeah.
Are you just gonna add some age to it, make it look like a Polaroid?
yeah, just make you don't have to do much
do
more.
that.
Just make the photo look shittier
Yeah.
in general, then you'll be there.
Here, we can do that.
Give that kind of that like yellowishy tints to it or whatever, What would they've taken photos in? Is that the correct framing, or would it be a different
I'm sure it would be a different lens angle,
Well, I'm thinking like, well, they took square photos back then, didn't they? I can't remember.
Oh shit, what did I
A
do?
little much, Tim.
Too shitty. It's too shitty.
Yeah.
Set the shitty down a little.
We'll add some 80s grain to it.
Yeah,
There we go.
I like Adobe Premiere, but one thing it doesn't have, and I think you have to get like After Effects to get these little programs, is like if I wanted to make it look like old grainy film, like it's not really. I'm sure there's a way to play with the different effects in there and do it, but it doesn't have like when I was using Sony Vegas, you can literally be like, I want this to look like 1902 film, and there's like a fucking like a filter for that, and it throws little fucking shit doohicles in it and spots and whatnot.
Yeah.
I like that.
I don't know, man. I can't give up Final Cut. I love it so much. It's so
Final
easy
Cut
to
is
use.
great, man. I'm the same way you are, though. I know I should probably go to a different program at this point, but I just can't seem to give up Premiere. So there we go. There's you some straight 80s goodness right there. That's the power of Photoshop right there.
It just disgusts me, but I like that you've done it.
This is how it was back in 1988 when I was a freaking junior. Let's see, what was I in 88? I was a junior in high school.
I
Yeah.
hadn't even started school yet. I was
1988,
3-4 years old.
Suck it. Lick my balls.
I was 6 years old.
So yeah, wait.
I'm gonna be 40. I'm gonna be 48 next month, boys. 48.
You graduate in 01?
I graduated in 1988 from high school and 1992 from
You
college.
know what's weird for me? It's probably weirder for you, Tim, but there's like so many people I know now who are just turning 50 that when I met them, because you meet a lot when you turn 21, you meet a lot of people. So there's so many people who are turning 50 now that I'm like, you were my age when I met you.
Yeah. Dude, I'm telling you, and you try to explain this to young people and it just doesn't work because they can't grasp it. You have to figure it out for yourself along the way. But the difference between 25 years old and 45 years old, that 20-year period goes by like the blink of a motherfucking eye. And it's hard to get people to realize that. Like, cherish every moment, enjoy every sandwich. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I'm trying, man. Because
Yeah.
it was really weird. And again, it's like I was 21. I met a lot of people. We started working in bars, bartending. I met a lot of people in their 30s, you know. And like those people who are my age now are now like they're just about to turn 50. And I just think back and remember not even thinking that they were that old, even at the time. I was like, oh, you're like 32, like whatever. That's not old. And now they're 50. I'm like, fuck. Because now I know people who are 21 who are going to think the same fucking thing about me.
If I was the oldest person on Earth, like the oldest current person on Earth, I would just go around constantly telling people, I used to be your age.
And on that, I'm ending the hangout.
All right.
Night, everyone.
Good times, you guys.
Everybody in the audience, man. You guys fucking rock. You need
Tell
to listen to Jake and Tim for about whatever 5 minutes.
No, we're out.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, we'll be out when you go out. Tell Jessica
Right.
I said hello, and tell her
I
Jake
will.
said hello, even though he was a dick and he didn't say hello.
I'll tell you guys. She got freaked out because I fucking tagged you in that post when we had all the Ford trucks lined up. I was like, get triggered, all Fords. I had 3 Ford trucks out of Croom, and I tagged you in it. And Jessica was like, what? You didn't tell me Jake the Garden Snake was coming down to ride with you at fucking Croom. I was like, no, it was something else you didn't see.
Did you tag me right? Because I don't think I saw that.
It's an Instagram story. I don't. It's weird. It doesn't.
Oh, yeah, the stories.
I think it just sends you like a message or something like that.
Yeah.
It's weird. So
Yep,
nobody ever see. I tag people in, but nobody ever sees them. I don't.
think I'm
ever
gonna
see
get
them.
another Ford eventually here soon. That's gonna be the next vehicle. Just fucking stick with them. Fuck it, Fords for life. I don't care.
Fords for life. Get triggered, motherfuckers.
mad.
We'll see ya.
All right, man.
All right. Well, I guess. Oh, I took over. It's just fucking me now. It's the Jake show. Well, I guess I could just sit in here for 5 minutes, and let it run out. It's a bit awkward, but what's going on? Y'all ask me some questions, and I'll give you my answers. And I'll talk in a deep voice like this, right here into the microphone. My microphone smells like leather. I don't know why. Yeah, just like leather. Who knows? What about some shitty bikes? We didn't talk about shitty bikes, but I remember as a mechanic, pretty much any bike that was like more than 15, 20 years old and just had shitty tires and like no brakes. The brakes were fucking wood. Whole thing's heavy. You struggles. You let the clutch out and you're trying to go and the whole thing struggles. You just don't feel confident going any more than 5 miles an hour on it. When I was a garage mechanic, I had to work on pieces of shit like that constantly. Just horrible fucking pieces of shit. But you know, when you're a garage mechanic working at half the price of the normal dealerships, you end up taking on whatever you can get. I convinced you to buy a Hyosung. I mean, they're not bad. They're all right. If I could put around on and cheap. Would you recommend a WR250 or the thing between a WR250 and a DRZ? I'd say get whatever one you can find that's the better deal. It doesn't really fucking matter. They're both awesome bikes. The DRZ's got a little more fucking torque, but the WR feels a little more agile, even though they're not. They're about the same weight. When are you and Dan gonna hook up? We joke a lot. I'm editing a video right now with me and Dan where we make way too many gay references, and it's just gonna make people ask crazy questions. And but we just fuck around too much. Yeah, I saw Jim Leahy. I fucking feel bad. I don't know his real name. I just found out. Yeah, he passed away. That sucks, dude. I didn't know that till just now. The new Kawasaki Dual Sport is improved. I'll have to look that up. I didn't fucking know. I thought it was still a piece of shit. Kind of because he was for a long time. Big, heavy, slow thing. It was like the worst. It was like, should I get a DRZ or WR250 or the Kawasaki 250? Like, not the Kawasaki 250. Whatever. You don't get fucking that. WR450 CR4. I don't know, man. They're on the street, dude. The WR is probably the best out of those bikes right there. Back off, Dan. My gay lover aged. Jim Dunsworth. I guess that's his real name. It fucking sucks. Sucks that dude died. I'll tell you, his dance pussy. It's pretty loose. I mean, I've ridden a Moto Guzzi. I've never really wrenched on one. Interesting fucking things. Weird engine. You know. Tim, You should just come back to him. There's still time. Yeah, it's just not. It's not. It is gay, but you know, it is what it is. Can't be helped. Oh man, my arm's fucking. I'm holding my mic in a weird way, and it hurts. There's a piece of that spider's leg I killed earlier. Holy shit! I guess I didn't get them all. Anyways, man, I feel like Garth from Wayne's World when he went on by himself. He didn't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Jake, your opinion on the TW200? Awesome, fucking fun little dual sport. Buy it and just ride the shit out of it. Don't go where the trail goes. Just start going off the trail. Just don't even use the brakes. More throttle. The key is always more throttle. When in doubt, throttle out. Just never stop. Party on, Jake, and party on, Tim. Jake, what's the deal? What's the 6 foot deal? I don't know. People keep asking me that. Is it because of my last video? I fucking did that outro with his music. I was just fucking around. I don't know. I hope that's what people are going on about. I have no idea. The funny thing is 6 foot paid for that video. Is one of my Patreons. So it's whatever. Don't take me too seriously. What if it doesn't fix the situation? It always will fix the situation. Just more throttle constantly. Remember just to always pin it. No, it's not going to run out, Waylon. I have an edit to get to as well, but you're going to be here all fucking night listening to me and not doing your edit. And